Hey everybody, I haven't made a video in a very long time. This is Bridger's idea. He wants to start videoing again, and it's not that I don't like doing it, it just takes a lot of time. It's another element of everything. So we thought we've had some changes in the stable since our last videos, and I thought we would kind of go over the bikes, something a little different. All of my bikes are super dirty right now. We just got back from the 9-hour race, the off-road cup. Team did really well. Our fast guy had a bit of an injury. Not a bit of an injury, blew his knee out 7 hours into 9 hours, but still had a great time. It was like riding on moon dust. It was super dry. And I haven't washed the bikes or anything yet, so you're gonna see them in their natural states. But we'll go over, kind of talk. We'll start with my new race bike. Okay, so this is my TM EN 300. I really like the 300 two-stroke bikes. This bike comes in either a fuel injected or a carbureted model. This, as you can see, is the carbureted model. Has a 38mm key and carb on it. I have the fuel injected. My KTM, it we'll look at here in a second, is fuel injected. TPI, it is throttle body injected. Now they have, transfer port injected, excuse me, transfer port injected. The new ones are throttle body, TBI. TM actually has that, came out with that technology first, and TM, what this bike has, it kind of makes it a bit unique, is it has an electronic power valve on it. So your power valve set by your mapping and changes each gear. You can map it so your hit is each gear, the ports, power valve opens differently. On pretty cool. TM's always been pretty well top of the game when it comes to that stuff. They're a small boutique company. They are Italian. They hand make each one of their bikes. You can see the welds and things on this bike. They're just gorgeous. They make 1,500 bikes a year across all their range total. So they're not a big, kind of like, I like to think of it as the Ferrari of dirt bikes. I don't know, they're no magic pill. Just because you buy a fast bike doesn't mean you're fast. I'm living proof of that, but they're a very nice bike. Things I like about this bike, I love the power. It has a really strong motor in it. I have heard that it is like a KTM 300 with like a high compression head. I've never rode one of those, but I can imagine, because it definitely has more, it has more power than the KTM. And it's not anywhere in particular. It's just when you twist the throttle, it just has more. Still smooth across the bottom, still lots and lots of low end grunt. Just seems like there's just a little bit more there. Not enough to really get you in trouble, but when you're climbing hills and things like that, there's just a little more power there. I love the power of these bikes. Some things I have done to this one in particular, different tires. Of course, you go through tires, but it came with some European tires on it, some weird sizes, and I pulled them off. They're actually on the KTM. Put a little shark fin on back there. I put these on. They're not holding up all that great. They're just kind of a sticker. You can see it kind of wearing through them in some places, but keeps clearly, I guess it protects the aluminum frame some. I did put this skid plate on. I absolutely love this skid plate. That thing is thebomb.com. I really like the skid plate. Going over, did put some bulletproof radiator guards on it. I probably would use a different kind next time. Bulletproofs are great. Got them on all the bikes, but There's other models that do protect the sides, I think, a little better. Maybe some braces and a different style guard like the Enduro Engineering model. I think I will try next time. Carbon fiber front disc guard. I had purchased a carbon fiber fork guard, one on the bottom on this side, but kind of didn't fit all that great, so I sent it back. You can see I'm getting nicks and smack some stuff. There's only about 21 hours on this bike. Maybe I should have kept that in hindsight, but we'll find out. Time will tell. It does have a headlight. We'll go up, look at the controls in a second. Kind of funky. A lot of stuff going on up here on the handlebars. You've got this deal, which is your high and low. It's European. Does have a horn that works. Turn signals that came in a bag that obviously I didn't put on because they just get ripped off. Here's the map switch. Map 1, map 2. Probably rotate that a little bit. Don't want it up too high, get smacked, but something I've done different. I have gone from full wrap guards to these open-ended guards, and I really like them. I didn't think I would. I really like these guards. They still protect your hands. They keep your fingers from getting broke. When we get to Bridger's bike, I'll show you, but when you do smack trees, there's enough give in them that you don't get that nasty tank slap that wrecks you. This is the second set I've had on this bike. Because of all the stuff on these handlebars, space is a pretty precious commodity. So I went with this Enduro Engineering style because it mounts right on to your brake levers and your clutch levers. I did put a Midwest Engineering clutch lever on this bike. I have this on both bikes. Actually, I don't have it on the KTM right now. I have two of these. This bike comes with I believe it's a 10 millimeter clutch, and it's kind of stiff. It's a stiffer clutch, especially for hydraulics. I like the short lever anyway. I never use more than 2 fingers on my clutch, and I like the shorter lever. I like the style, and then it reduces the pull some and lengthens the friction zone out a little bit. I really like that lever. I didn't put it on. Actually, the 9-hour was the first race I had it on, so I put about 18 hours on the bike with the traditional lever. Went ahead and switched out to the Midwest Engineering before the 9-hour. I'm glad I did. I like it. It's a good lever. Got it all adjusted, and I'll probably continue to use it on this bike for sure. Going on, she's dusty. It was, like I said, moon dust. This is a seat. When I got the bike, it had a high seat on it, taller. When we do this side by side, you'll tell that this bike sits a lot taller than my KTM does, which has been lowered for me. And I've gotten used to that. That's not as big of a factor as I thought it was till you get into real gnarly stuff. And it doesn't ever affect me when I'm moving. It's little times, like trying to turn around on a trail, or when you get stopped on a hill that you end up falling over just because you can't touch the ground, that you could save it on the little shorter bike. This is the TM EN 300 carb model. Aftermarket parts, obviously they only make 1,500 bikes a year, so companies don't make, there's not the surplus of aftermarket parts. TM makes their own shock on the back, but they do use a lot of things that you can get stuff for. Obviously the KYB forks on the front, very similar to your Yamaha's. Internal valving, I don't know, I can't tell you there, that's not my thing, but very good front forks. The brakes are Brembos, so like my clutch levers for the KTM fit the TM. Brembo brakes, Brembo clutch. It has this HGS, which is European pipe, came with that ding. I actually didn't do that, but I'm pretty notorious for beating pipes up, so that wasn't a deal breaker for me. Pro Circuit makes some pipes for it, which will be what I replace that pipe with when I finally crush it completely like a pop can. They do have this sight glass on the outside. Kind of wish they'd have put it on the back. Haven't broke it yet. Don't plan on breaking it, but inevitably in time, you know, those are the things. These little levers, this is kind of a pain. When you change the oil, this pretty little oil cap doesn't like to come out from behind your pipe, so you got to loosen that off and kind of pry it up. That just frustrating. Like, looks pretty, but it's frustrating. I do like that this is a 2021 bike, has both a Kickstarter and an electric start. A lot of bikes are going away from that. Came jetted absolutely pathetically from factory, but little time we got it jetted, I think it's really good right now. I'm running as recommended a 32-to-1 ratio. A lot of your newer bikes don't require near that much oil, but that's what they say, and this bike seems to really like it. And it's hard to have, I have not found a plug since I've rejetted it. Actually, the plugs look great on it, so I'm going to keep doing it. But this is my current race bike, new model, sitting right now with 21 hours on it. All right, we'll come over here to this old girl. She's got 205 hours on it. This is now my play bike or my backup bike. It's been all over. I love thinking of the places this bike's taken me. Chadwick, Black Hills, there's Michigan, Land Between the Lakes, Kentucky, Mark Twain National Forest. There's more stickers underneath it here. Oh, shock zone suspension settings. Shout out to Jim. Way to go, Jim. This bike's been Moab. Went to Moab, Utah this year. I just love this bike, and it trying to think where else. Hatfield McCoy trails in Kentucky. Been an absolutely great bike. It is a 6 days model. When I got it, it was one of the first TPI bikes. It may have been the first TPI bike in Missouri, and it was only available in a 6 days model, unless I wanted to wait for somebody to get another one in, and I didn't. So wouldn't spend the money for the 6 days again, other than the fork guards and a couple pieces of white plastic. There's not much of the 6 days left on this bike, but I can't complain. I've had virtually no issues, other than one time I flooded it in a creek. That was my own fault. Went down in a creek and didn't get the water out well, and you sure can't blame that on the bike. This bike has recently had a bad fork seal leak. You can see that coming. I think I've got it fixed now, but that's what all that is down there. It's been through quite a few sets of fork seals in its life, and it'll go through more hopefully before I'm done with it. So we talked about smashing pipes. This was my FMF gnarly pipe, and she's getting pretty gnarly. I have ran pipe guards before. I had a carbon. This 6 days comes with a carbon pipe guard. Didn't like the carbon because you hit things here and it ends up bending up here worse. And this bike has a flange seal protector on it now. Because of that, I don't think I did permanent damage, but it bent it up into there. It was pretty bad. So I took the carbon off. Then I put one of those big giant aluminum guards on. That aluminum guard was great, but it was like a snow shovel. You get into mud and it would just fill up. It was great for dry, but it was like driving around with a old aluminum scoop shovel on the front of your bike, and I ended up taking it off. This bike does have a Recluse manual clutch in it. It does not have an auto clutch. I had an auto clutch in it. I'm not going to get into that debate whether they are good or bad. I had it, just just wasn't for me. So to give props to the Recluse company, I called them up. Actually had a few issues with it, couldn't get it set right, didn't like it, and they sent me a Recluse manual to put in, completely under warranty. Didn't even charge me for shipping. So they replaced the auto clutch with a manual clutch. That clutch has been in there probably about 100 hours now and haven't had any issues. So whether or not you like the auto clutch, that's your own business, and to each his own on that, Ford versus Chevy. But the company themselves, I've got nothing but good things to say about their customer service. This bike, the KTM, has the PDS suspension, which is the single monoshock in the back, versus the linkage system, still single monoshock, but you can see all the linkage. I don't know that I can tell much of a difference as a C rider. Yeah, it's not hanging down to get hung up on stuff, but I don't know, it doesn't seem to make too big of a difference to me. I ride them both. I had the Beta before this bike, and I love the suspension on the Beta. Beta totes rideability, and I think it's legit. I think their bikes are very rideable. I strongly consider having another Beta again. And that's what I was gonna get before I found the TM, but again, they didn't have them, and I kind of got a great deal on that TM. It was an ordered bike, and the guy who ordered it changed his mind, went with another one, so the dealer went ahead and got that one in, and I got a good deal on it, and I don't regret it at all. But I will really like the Beta suspension, which was linkage. It was a 250 RR Race Edition is what I had, 2017. This bike is a 2019, 2021. Going over other subtle differences, with this being transfer port injected, you do not mix oil in this one, which is nice. Ran out of gas out in Moab, and we literally pushed it to a gas station, filled the tank up. Oil goes in there. There's an oil tank reservoir, automatically mixes. Haven't had any trouble with that. It is a thing that can go wrong. I mean, if you want to do that, but these bikes have so much electronics on them now that I don't know. Yeah, you can see. All right, so these are the tires that came on the TM. You can see the guard, they're kind of a weird size, and that's that 120 rear, and I've ate it down at different times. I'll run them. Can't afford to throw good tires away, so throw them on, ride them till they're dead. Southwest Missouri, we don't really have, everything is rock here. Big rocks, little rocks. You gotta run rock guards on things. You can see over the years that one's probably saved a rotor or two in its day. Gotta run rock guards on everything down here. Same way, run them on the fronts. It looks like it's bulletproof on the front. Got the bulletproof braces on this bike. Again, I think, and I had no complaints, but I think next time I will, I might try a little different style. If you look in there close, you can see that at some point I have smashed those radiators on the sides a little bit. I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but there's something there. Getting the shadows. Looking this bike over. There's your little oil tank in there. So that's it for my bikes, race bikes, both 300s. Moving on, we'll go to Bridgers. So here's B's bikes. He's probably gonna be mad that I did this without him. Probably should just wait. We may do another video where he goes over his bikes. So he really likes his Husqvarnas. That's not a brand loyalty thing. That's just what we had available and what we found. This is his Husqvarna 50. He has one race left on the 50. It's a good idea we get her videoed anyway, because she's pre-sold. They agreed to let Bridger finish out the summer series on it. He still actually could race this bike another year, but he's outgrown it. Even with the 65 sitting down in the hill there, you can see there's quite the size difference. Totally different animals. It's almost like making him pull teeth to ride this 50. Once he learned the clutch, he won't go back. So this little 50 is a mean little dude. You hear all the horror stories about the 50s, and I do think there's truth in them, absolutely, but we've been very blessed. This bike has been extremely good to us. It does have an hour meter on it somewhere. She's got well over 100 hours on it, and still going. Had a couple top ends, and still going good. So got something going on here. Ambulance doesn't look good. Sorry about that. So this bike doesn't have, it's all auto clutch, kind of like a snowmobile. Got the Tusk clutch covered for a little more oil capacity in it. Small little pipe. This bike does have the air forks, but you can see no clutch, no gear shift, one gear. Let her eat. Now moving up over here to a 65. Huge jump in bikes. This 65 is super cool. It is essentially the same as that bike, only smaller. It's exactly the same. 6-speed gear transmission, clutch, air forks, same bike, only smaller. You can see he's got his little Chadwick day pass. Next year I may have to break down and get him a year pass if he wants to keep going. He likes it. He's just now getting the confidence to hang on some of the trails up there, but really likes his 65. Loves it. And then moving on, don't really know where this bike fits in the stable. This is the KLX 140R, and if I have to say, this is not a race bike, but this is the family bike of choice. We all ride the tar out of this bike. I get on it, go to the mailbox, get the mail. Mandy is not scared of it. She will ride it. Bridger will get on it, not geared up. He should gear up, but he'll get on it and talk to himself and just ride in circles for hours around the yard on this bike. Little 4-stroke, quiet, so much fun. I actually rode it, so I wanted a trials bike to just follow the kids around on and stuff, and I got this bike for him just to keep the hours off the race bike, and the race bike is pretty intense. And we bought it for Bridger thinking that he was not going to be able to ride it for a while, and it was a good price, and he got all upset. We put 2 cinder blocks, one on each side, like here and here, so he could put his feet down, and he would get on it and he'd ride in a circle, and he would stop between the cinder blocks and put his feet on it, and he learned to ride it that way. And actually this big gouge came from that. One of the first days he had it, he dropped it trying to park between this, and that scraped it down the cinder block. But he's rode the ever-living tar out of this. I ride it, Mandy rides it. We all love this bike. If we had to say there's one bike for the whole family, it's the Kawasaki KLX 140. Just a cool, air-cooled, can't beat it with a stick. we all love this bike. So nothing fancy. We talked about bark busters. This was the pair that I actually put on the TM first, and you can see like they're rubber and really flexible. You can see I've smacked some stuff with them, and what I really like is they'll protect your hands. You don't break your fingers, but it doesn't give you that tank slap you're wrecking that the full wrap style guards do. I mean, you hit that and there's it, you know, it sends a shock clear through you. Whereas these, you glance off. It's something I would have never thought of, but for experience I'm really becoming a fan. Anyway, Bridger he did smack his bar before we had something riding on the trails around in the house, and he wanted, so I put these on his Kawasaki, got myself the new set. Anyway, that's the current stable right now. That's what we're racing and riding. B has one race left on this one. He's going to do the last of the Moore race on the 50 this year. I believe he's in second place right now for the season. I don't think there's any way he'll catch the leader, but he can. I think he's going to finish second, worst case third place maybe, on his 50. And he better enjoy it because he's moving up to Pee Wee Pros. He's still on the 8, but he'll be riding with like the 9 through 13-year-old kids. A lot bigger tracks, a lot bigger bikes. So could be his last podium for a while, and we'll end up seeing how he does. I think he'll come back. He's a pretty resilient kid. So there's the whole stable. All the bikes, we get sweeping out the shop. It's a sunny day, it's cold, but we may give them all a good bath today. Thanks everybody. Sorry it's been so long since we filmed, but at least you know the ponies now. Hope to see you all soon. Love you guys. See you next Sunday.